step before we study the transaction. I mean that all steps. I explain a little bit about the parties to LC transaction. First one, the importer. The importer here is applicant. The importer is a person who asks the bank to issue the LC. That's why we say applicant. The exporter is a person who get payment, so it is beneficiary, người thụ hưởng. We have many banks, but to make it easier, we have two groups of bank. First group is issuing bank on the left, on the right, and also reimbursement bank. Issuing bank, reimbursement bank, two banks is in one only, to make it easier. The next, what about the banks serve the exporter? We have advising bank, a negotiating bank, confirming bank. They are nominated bank. Negotiating bank and confirming bank are nominated bank. Okay, so first, the importer. Okay, so now I just explained about the parties. Based on the handouts textbook, please explain about the transaction from step number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, the last step is step number 9, from negotiating bank to the exporter. Okay, so now using the documents, the handouts, the textbook, also Vietnamese textbook, I gave you. So please prepare and then explain the steps first. After introducing, I will give you many questions. By studying questions, by answering questions, hopefully you understand the transaction deeply. Okay, so now you have 10 minutes to study the transaction and then raise your voice to explain about the transaction. I will be happy if you raise your hands. I don't want to select to assign to you. Okay, so please prepare for the transaction. It is we will answer the question at 11:13. Okay, please. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what about step number 1? Raise your hands, please. Number 54, please.
Sorry, I can explain this chart now.
You cannot?
Yes.
Why?
But I cannot find the information about this chart.
Keep your hands, please. Not easy for me to follow. Okay. Lê Huyền Trang, please.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. For the step 1, I think when the exporter and importer agree on the sale contract, the importer will send the soon apply to the issue bank to issue an LC.
Send what?
Issue the LC.
Application form for LC.
Yeah.
Application form for LC. Đơn yêu cầu mở LC. Yes. To which bank? Issuing bank or reimbursement bank?
Issuing bank.
Okay, good. This is the step number 1. Okay, my question for you. The importer issue application form for LC, right?
Yeah.
Do they need to base on the contents of sales contract?
Yes, I think it's a part.
Yes. So thank you very much. We need to remember that the importer creates or issue application form for LC based on the contents of sales contract like Ms. Lê Huyền Trang said that the importer and the exporter signs sales contract, and if they agree to use LC as a method of payment or DC as a method of payment, of course, step number 1 is issue and send the ALC to issuing bank. Go on with step number 2, please. Miss Huyền Trang, number 2.
Yes. And then the issuing bank is forwards the LC to the...
Moment. The issuing bank receives ALC, application form for LC, from the importer. from the
ALC.
import. Yes, from the importer. And what does issuing bank do after receiving ALC?
I think after this, the issuing bank is forward to the
Forward what?
forward ALC to the
No. ALC just agreement between the importer and issuing bank. The importer asks issuing bank to open LC. That is ALC.
yeah.
The thing advising bank needs is an LC.
Yeah.
LC, an LC, not ALC. ALC is application form for LC. Issuing bank need to have LC. That's why. What about the step number 2?
Yes.
45, please.
Me?
45, yes.
Yes. I think in the step number 2, the issuing bank process a formal credit approval of the application and establish credit limit for the importer.
Yeah, Mr. Tang just said establish the LC. Okay, so we can use many different words to describe about this action. Issuing bank, now number 2, issuing bank issues LC and send the LC to to advising bank. Transfer or send the LC to the issuing bank. So there are 2 actions here in the step number 2. First one is issues letter of credit, creates bills, establish an LC. Okay, and then the second action is send to, transfer to advising bank. It is a step number 2. Okay, Mr. Tang, go on with step number 3.
Wait. I think in number 3 is the advising bank will verify the ALC for
ALC or LC?
LC
LC.
for authenticity and send a copy to the exporter.
Okay, so advising bank will verify or check the
LC.
Appearance of the LC. Yes, to check the appearance, but not contents. Appearance, hình thức of the LC, and then advise the importer of the LC. Advise someone of something. Thông báo cho ai cái gì. So in this case, advising bank advise advise beneficiary exporter of LC. It means that thông báo LC cho người thụ hưởng. It is a step number 3. But remember, like Mr. Tang said that before transfer the LC to exporter, the advising bank needs to check the appearance of the LC, right? Okay. What about step number 4, Mr. Tang? Can you go on with?
Yes, I think the step number 4 is when the exporter receives the document ready, they will check it and
check the appearance or check the contents of the LC.
I think it's check the content of the LC.
Very good. Check the contents of the LC. Why the exporter check the contents?
Because they have to comply with the contract.
Comply with the contract or comply with the now the purpose of checking the LC is the exporter. Now suppose that, imagine you are the exporter. Why do you want to sell the goods to me, the importer? Because you want me to receive the goods, or you want to get payment from me?
to get
Tell me
payment
the
from you.
truth. Tell me the truth, please.
I want to get payment from you.
Yes, you want to get payment, of course, right? Yeah, okay, so based on definition, you can get paid just when you have compliant presentation, right?
Yes.
Compliant presentation means that the documents comply with LC, comply with UCP, comply with ISPP. So that's why you need to check the contents to make sure that you can have a compliant presentation, right? Is that clear for you? Is it clear for you? Okay.
Yes.
So after checking the documents, after checking the LC, if the contents of the LC are okay, acceptable, you ship the goods to the importer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. What about number 20?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I continue with the step 4 or 5.
5.
So the step 5 is the exporter prepare all the document about the good, then they send it to the advising bank.
Actually, we should say the exporter by step number 5. The exporter beneficiary presents document to nominated bank. Nominated bank, yes.
Okay.
Nominated bank. Okay, so now my question for you. You said that the exporter prepares the documents, okay? Now, before step number 5, the exporter has 2 contracts. First contract is a sales contract between the exporter and the importer. The second contract is a payment contract. It is LC. Between issuing bank and exporter. Okay, so now my question is, you prepare the documents based on the contents of the sales contract or the contents of the LC?
I think the exporter is prepared the documents based on the sale contract.
Sales contract? So are you sure that you can get paid?
Actually, you have to prepare the document based on the payment to get payment.
Because your purpose is to get paid, right?
Yes.
So, okay, 20, number 12, please.
I think after have the LC, we will base on the LC for the contract. For the document.
Yes, for the document. So you prepare the documents based on the LC, right?
Yes.
What about number 10, please?
I think the exporter will prepare the documents based on the LC, and the document must be compliant with some standard like USB or ESPP,
Yes.
UCP or ESP or
Okay.
SPP.
Okay, so now my question. If there are some differences between sales contract and LC, the differences, there are some differences between sales contract and the LC. Of course, the exporter need to prepare the documents, comply with the LC, but not with the sale contract. But normally, the content of LC and the content of sale contract are compliant. They match each other. But sometimes, remember, sometimes they are different. That's why I ask you, you prepare the documents based on the LC or the sale contract. The answer is we have to create, prepare, build the documents based on the contents of the LC. Remember, of the LC. Because you need the issuing bank to make payment. That's why we have to base on the sales, sorry, the LC. Number 20, do you want to say something?
No.
12?
No.
Okay. So now go on with step number 6. With number 6. Raise your hands, please. Number 6, look at the flow chart. Number 6, from nominated bank to issuing bank. Okay, so very easy. 20, please.
So step 6 was the nominated bank transfer the document to the issuing bank.
Okay, you can say that transfer, or you can say forward the documents to to issuing bank. Okay, number 7. Can you go on with step number 7?
After receiving the document, the issuing bank will examine the document, and after that, they will release the document to the importer to receive the good.
Yes. Okay, you were right when you say that issuing bank check the document, examine the documents, right? Check the documents. Okay. Yes. Why you check the documents? To make sure that the documents is comply
with the content of contract.
A contract, or comply with the LC?
With the LC.
Okay, so the purpose of issuing, of checking the documents by issuing bank is to make sure the documents is a compliant presentation or not, right? If yes. I agree that if the documents is compliant presentation, of course, we have step number 7. You release document to the importer, and also you have to transfer payment by step number 8. Remember, yes. If you release documents, it means that you agree that the documents is compliant presentation. Okay, and then step number 8 is payment. Step number 8 or number 9 from nominated bank to beneficiary is just payment. It is yes. Smoothly. The transaction runs smoothly. I just said that if the transaction runs smoothly, I mean that in reality, sometimes they have no chance to have, I mean the parties, no chance to have 8 steps or 9 steps like on the slide. Sometimes. Okay, so now I have some question for you for next time. I will, do you have this slide? Do you have this slide?
Yes.
Okay, so it is your exercise. You need to answer all, so maybe question number 1 first. Question number 1, write out please. Prepare question number 1. Question number 2. Question number 6. Number 1, number 2, number 6. Number 7. Number 9. 1, 2, 6, 7, and 9. One, two, 6, 7, and 9. I will, you need to answer the question before the time I explain the next content, okay? So today we can stop here, but before you leave the class, I want you to remember, from now the content are very complicated, so try to focus on the content and do all exercise I give you. Okay, what about the number 20? Number 20, you have two options, 9 marks for the second test, or you plus 2 marks into your second test.
I think I will choose the 9 mark option.
Okay. So see you on, today is Thursday, right?
Yes.
Okay. See you on
Tuesday.
No, on next Tuesday. But I wonder a little bit about the exercise. Maybe I will send. So no, my final decision. I will create exercise on Google Classroom for question number 1, 2, 6, 7, 9, and then you submit your answer. Okay, is it clear for you?
Yes.
Okay, so bye bye. See you next time.
Alright. Yeah, we
Bye. Have a lunch. Good lunch. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.